Thought Power, Chapter 5. The Development of Thought Power. Acquisition of thought power by moral purity. A man who speaks the truth and has moral purity has always powerful thoughts. One who has controlled anger by long practice has tremendous thought power. If a yogi whose thought is very powerful speaks one word, it will produce tremendous impression on the minds of others. Virtues like truthfulness, earnestness, and industry are the best sources of mental power. Purity leads to wisdom and immortality. Purity is of two kinds: internal or mental, and external or physical. Mental purity is more important. Physical purity is also needed. With the establishment of internal mental purity, cheerfulness of mind, one pointed mind, conquest of indriyas, and fitness for the realization of the self are obtained. Thought power by concentration. There is no limit to the power of human thought. The more concentrated the human mind is, the more power is brought to bear on one point. The rays of the mind are scattered in the case of worldly minded persons. There is dissipation of mental energy in various directions. For purposes of concentration, these scattered rays have to be gathered by the practice of concentration, and then the mind must be made to turn towards God. Cultivate attention. You will have good concentration. A serene mind is fit for concentration. Keep the mind serene. Be cheerful always. Then alone you can concentrate. Be regular in your concentration. Sit in the same place at the same time, 4 a.m. Celibacy, pranayama, reduction of wants and activities, dispassion, silence, seclusion, discipline of the senses, japa, control of anger, giving up reading novels, newspapers, and visiting cinemas are all aids to concentration. Too much physical exertion, too much talking, too much eating, too much mixing with worldly persons, too much walking, too much sexual indulgence are obstacles to concentration. Thought power by organized thinking. Destroy random thinking. Take a subject and think of its different aspects and bearing. When you think so on one subject, never allow any other thought to enter the conscious mind. Withdraw the mind again to the subject on hand. Take, for instance, you begin to think on the life and teachings of Jagadguru Adi Shankaracharya. Think of his birthplace, his early life, his character, his personality, his virtues, his teachings, his writings, his philosophy, some of the important utterings of his works or shlokas, the siddhis that he exhibited from time to time, his Digvijaya, his four disciples, his four mutts, his commentary on the Gita, the Upanishads, and the Brahma Sutras. Think of these items one by one in order. Exhaust them again and again. Bring the mind to the point. Then take up another subject. By this practice, you will develop organized thinking. The mental images will gain intense strength and force. They will become clear cut and well defined. In ordinary persons, the mental images are distorted and undefined. Thought power by willpower. Every sensual object rejected, every temptation resisted, every harsh word withheld, every noble aspiration encouraged helps you to develop willpower or soul force and takes you nearer and nearer to the goal. With strong feeling, repeat mentally, my will is powerful, pure, and irresistible. Om, Om, Om. I can do everything through my will. Om, Om, Om. I have an invincible will. Om, Om, Om. Will is the dynamic soul force. When it operates all the mental powers, such as the power of judgment, power of memory, power of grasping, power of conversation, reasoning power, power of discrimination, power of reflection, and inference, all these come into instant play. Will is the king of mental powers. When rendered pure and irresistible, thought and will can work wonders. Will becomes impure and weak through vulgar passions, love of pleasures, and desires. The lesser the number of desires, the stronger is the thought power and the will. When sexual energy, the muscular energy, anger, etc., are transmuted into the will force, they are controlled. There is nothing impossible on earth for a man of strong willpower. When you give up an old habit of drinking coffee, you have controlled to a certain extent the sense of taste, destroyed one vasana, and have eliminated the craving for it. As there is freedom from the efforts to procure coffee and also from the habit of taking it, you will gain some peace. The energy involved in the hankering for coffee and which was agitating you will now be converted into the power of will. By this conquest over one desire, you gain willpower. And if you conquer some 15 such desires, your willpower will be 15 times stronger and more powerful. And this conquest, by imparting strength to the will help you conquer other desires too. Unruffled state of the mind, poise, cheerfulness, inner strength, capacity to turn out difficult works, success in all undertakings, power to influence people, a magnetic and dynamic personality, magnetic aura on the face, sparkling eyes, steady gaze, powerful voice, magnanimous gait, unyielding nature, fearlessness, etc., are some of the signs or symptoms that indicate that one's will is growing. Simple prescriptions for clear thinking. The mental images of the common man are generally very distorted. He does not know what deep thinking is. His thoughts run riot. There is a great deal of confusion in his mind sometimes. It is only thinkers, philosophers, and yogins who have well defined, clear cut mental images. They can be seen through clairvoyance very vividly. Those who practice concentration and meditation develop strong, well formed mental images. Most of your thoughts are not well grounded. They come and slip away. They are, therefore, vague and indefinite. The images are not clear, strong, and well defined. You will have to reinforce them by clear, continuous, and deep thinking through vichara, ratiocination, manana, or deep reflection and meditation. You will have to make the thoughts settle down and crystallize into a definite shape. Then the philosophical idea will become firm. Through right thinking, reasoning, introspection, and meditation, you will have to clarify your ideas. Then confusion will vanish. The thoughts will get settled and well grounded. Think clearly. Clarify your ideas again and again. Introspect in solitude. Purify your thoughts to a considerable degree. Silence the thoughts. Don't allow the mind to bubble. Let one thought wave rise and settle down calmly. Then allow another thought to enter. Drive off all extraneous thoughts that have no connection with the subject matter you are handling at the present moment. Sadhana for deep and original thinking. Most of us do not know what right thinking is. Thinking is shallow in the vast majority of persons. Deep thinking is given to few. Thinkers are very few in this world. Deep thinking needs intense sadhana or practice. It takes innumerable births for the proper evolution of the mind. Then only can it think deeply and properly. Independent and original thinking is resorted to by the Vedantins. Vedantic sadhana or manana reflection demands a sharp intellect. Hard thinking, persistent thinking, clear thinking, thinking to the roots of problems, to the very fundamentals of the situation, to the very presuppositions of all thoughts and being is the very essence of Vedantic sadhana. You will have to abandon an old idea, however strong and ingrained it may be, when you get a new elevating idea in its stead. If you have no courage to face the results of your thinking, to swallow the conclusions of your thinking, whatever they may mean to you personally, you should never take the trouble to philosophize. Take up to devotion. Meditation for applied and sustained thinking. Being a great force, thought carries tremendous power. It becomes a matter of great moment to know how to use this power in the highest possible way and to the greatest possible effect. This can best be done by the practice of meditation. Applied thinking applies the mind to the object, and sustained thinking keeps it continually engaged. Rapture brings about the expanding and bliss of the developing mind, whose motives for non distraction have been accomplished by those two kinds of thinking. Meditation can arise when applied and sustained thinking, rapture, bliss, and collectedness of mind arise. Acquire creative thought power. Thought is a vital living force, the most vital, subtle, and irresistible force that exists in the universe. Thoughts are living things. They move, they possess form, shape, color, quality, substance, power, and weight. Thought is the real action. It reveals itself as a dynamic force. A thought of joy creates sympathetically a thought of joy in others. The birth of a noble thought is a potent antidote to counteract on evil thought. Through the instrumentality of exercised positive thought, we come to acquire creative power. Develop individuality. Resist suggestions. Do not be easily influenced by the suggestions of others. Have your own sense of individuality. A strong suggestion, though it does not influence the subject immediately, will operate in due course. It will never go in vain. We all live in a world of suggestions. Our character is daily modified unconsciously by association with others. We unconsciously imitate the actions of those whom we admire. We daily absorb the suggestions of those with whom we come in daily contact. We are acted upon by these suggestions. A man of weak mind yields to the suggestions of a man of strong mind. The servant is always under the influence of the suggestions of his master. The wife is under the influence of the suggestions of her husband. The patient is under the influence of the suggestions of the doctor. The student is under the influence of the teacher. Custom is nothing but the product of suggestion. The dress that you put on, the manners, the behavior, and even the food that you eat are all outcome of suggestions only. Nature suggests in various ways. The running rivers, the shining sun, fragrant flowers, the growing trees are all incessantly sending you suggestions. Supernormal powers by thought discipline. A powerful occultist hypnotizes the whole audience collectively through his power of concentration and will and performs the rope trick. He throws a red rope in the air, gives suggestion to the onlookers that he will climb in the air through this rope, and disappears from the platform in the twinkling of an eye. But nothing is recorded when a photograph is taken. Understand and realize the powers of thought. Unfold the hidden powers or occult faculties. Close the eyes. Concentrate. Explore the higher regions of the mind. You can see distant objects, hear distant voices, send messages to distant places, heal persons who are at a distance, and move about to a distant place in the twinkling of an eye.